All right, it's January 20th, and we're going to dive right into the key signals that are shaping our world right now. So what did the world optimize for in the last 24 hours? Well, two huge themes really jumped out. First, we saw this massive wave of public sector buying. I mean, governments are building out their capacity on a scale that's just incredible. And second, AI. It's moving at lightning speed, both in how it's being sold and how it's being governed.
So how do we know this? We tracked just shy of 10,000. That's right, 10,000 individual signals from all over the globe. That kind of scale gives us a super precise map of exactly where the money, the policy, and all the attention is flowing, literally right now.
And if you look at the mix, wow, procurement wasn't just part of the story today, it was the story. We're talking over 6,000 signals, more than 60% of everything we tracked. Now, this isn't just boring paperwork. This is a huge, flashing sign of strategic public spending. It tells us that governments are actively, and I mean actively, building out their capabilities.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big players, the dominant economies. Then we'll do a quick scan across other key markets. After that, we'll look at some really interesting paradigm shifts that are starting to emerge. And finally, we'll tie it all together and figure out what it all means for you.
All right, let's jump right in. First up, the dominant economies. We're going to do a deep dive into the big three from the last 24 hours. The United States, the United Kingdom, and China. Okay, over in the US, the consumer AI race is hitting a whole new gear. It's not just about who's got the biggest, baddest model anymore. Nope. OpenAI just dropped ChatGPT Go, and that tells you everything. The battleground has shifted to market strategy. The real fight now? It's all about price points and product packaging. That's the stuff that's actually going to drive mass adoption. And get this, at the exact same time, the very plumbing of the US financial system is being completely ripped out and rebuilt. We're talking about the New York Stock Exchange's parent company, ICE, announcing a platform for 24/7 on-chain settlement. It's basically like they're upgrading the entire operating system for Wall Street. And why should you care? Well, when you change the core infrastructure, everything built on top of it has to change too. We're talking about your brokerage account, the biggest trading firms, everyone has to adapt.
All right, let's hop across the pond to the UK. The big signal there is the government kicking off a major consultation on kids and social media. And this isn't just talk, you know? This kind of policy thinking translates directly into new, really strict requirements for tech platforms. Think age gating, identity verification, even rules for phones in schools.
And this right here, this is where the UK story just explodes in our data. It was the absolute global supernode for procurement today. I mean, look at this chart. It's dwarfing even the US. And this is not random spending. This is a super clear pattern of the state systematically building up its muscle in everything from healthcare to transportation and digital services. Now let's head over to China, where we're seeing this really interesting two-pronged approach. On one hand, regulators are tapping the brakes on hot stocks, but on the other, they're pushing hard on policies to fire up domestic demand and upgrade their most strategic industries. And what's really fascinating is how they're doing it. China's algorithm registry, it's basically becoming a public directory, a map of the country's entire tech landscape for everyone to see.
Okay, we've covered the big three. Now let's broaden our scan and do a quick-fire round across some other key markets in Europe, Asia, and some emerging economies.
First stop, France, where a huge cyber risk signal just lit up. A single API breach might have exposed the personal data of, wait for it, 12 million people. That is a massive number. It really shines a spotlight on a critical vulnerability, right? The very systems that manage our digital identities are now a national-scale target for fraud.
And we're seeing these kinds of pressures and shifts just about everywhere. In Germany, a new analysis shows that tariffs are actually hurting domestic consumers the most, not foreign exporters. Over in Italy, there are persistent signals around a big telecom shakeup and competition enforcement. Japan, we're seeing a tricky combo of fiscal credibility concerns and stress on interest rates. And then you look at Africa, Nigeria is focused on its cybercrime posture and tightening up capital market rules, while Kenya and South Africa are dealing with state-owned assets and beefing up their cyber defenses. It's a lot happening all at once.
Okay, so if we zoom out from all these individual country signals, what's the bigger picture? What are the tectonic plates that are shifting underneath everything? We've picked out 4 early but major paradigm shifts that are really reshaping the landscape. Here are the 4 key shifts you absolutely need to have on your radar. Number 1, tariffs aren't just about trade anymore. They're geopolitical negotiating chips. Number 2, cyber risk is moving. It's not just about firewalls, it's about identity, just like we saw in France. Number 3, tokenized settlement is going mainstream. It's becoming a core part of the system. And number 4, the AI game has changed. It's now all about the packaging and the price tag.
And I really want to double-click on that tokenization point because it's so important. For years, this stuff was just a pilot project, a fringe experiment. But what the NYSE's parent company is doing, that's a total game changer. We're seeing tokenization move from the old world of experiments to the new world where it's a core strategy for primary markets. This is a fundamental rewiring of the entire system.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. What does this 24-hour snapshot really tell us? When you boil it all down, where is the world's focus? And more importantly, where is the money actually going?
Here's the bottom line. The world is actively optimizing for 5 key things right now. First, building up state capacity, and that's driven by that massive public procurement spending we saw. Second, platform governance, getting a handle on social media and our digital spaces. Third, identity and trust hardening, which is a direct response to those huge cyber threats. Fourth, trade risk repricing. We're all adapting to a new world of tariff strategies. And finally, financial rails modernization, with that huge shift toward tokenized systems.
And that really brings us to the final and most important question. These are the powerful currents shaping our world as we speak. So the question you've got to ask yourself is your strategy tuned into these signals?
If you want to dig deeper into any of this, you can get the full map and see all the sources we used. You can also learn about the inner OS that helps you turn these kinds of signals into actual strategy and execution. Thanks for joining us.